there is an European Green Party, and for this there are people from each member party. For example, one from Belgium, from the Green Party in Belgium. The name is Ecolo, and I'm there a representative for the European Green Party.
Okay.
Okay. And okay, just to say, I'm politically active in the Green movement, and I think that's one of the very important political questions is how to live a long and healthy life. And I would say 2 or 3 years ago, I was thinking about what are the biggest the the biggest
Challenges?
questions, challenges, and well, I always used to think, okay, each debt who is avoidable is something that we must try to avoid. And for me, the biggest problem till a few years ago, it was the hunger strike. No, sorry, the hunger problems. The fact that there are a million of people dying from hunger and from other diseases. But I realized that it's also possible, probably in a not so far future, to really make something against old age. So that's why I became a member of the Immortality Institute.
Yeah, and since you do have some experience then thinking about these issues, what would you have to say toward people? Now, there obviously is a little bit of conflict between, say, environmental concerns and also longevity and research. And certainly there are many parts of the world that are, have subpar living standards. Many people in the world go hungry, and then there is obviously some environmental trouble in some parts of the world. And some people say we should fix those problems before we even think about extending lifespans. Here, you appear to be someone who has balanced both of those, and I just want to get your perspective on a good way to move forward, where we can focus on having a clean environment. We can feed the world's poor, but we can also extend human lives and cure disease, things like that. Could you give me a perspective on that?
Yeah, actually, I was also thinking that way, the way most people think till 2 or 3 years ago, that it's more important to fight to make it possible for everybody, for each person to receive enough food and so on. But now I realize, like Obrede always say, that there are 150,000 people dying each day, and 100,000 of these 150,000 people are dying from disease related to old age. So it's even though even if you take the whole world, it's more important to fight against old age than to fight against hunger.
Okay.
And I think that concerning the environmental questions, well, that's maybe something easy to understand is the fact that the people don't care enough about their environment, because they know that they are going to die. So the problems are not for them anymore. And if you are not going to die from old age, you have more interest in keeping the planet clean, I would say.
Yeah, very good point.
Yeah, very good point. The next thing is also for me that I'm convinced that one of the reasons for which the human life is something really precious is that the people are living longer than before. So, for example, when 200 years ago, the babies were dying very often, and killing a baby was not really was a crime, but it was less a crime than killing an adult. The reason is that a big part of the babies were dying very young. So I think when the people will not die anymore of old age, the human life will be a lot more precious in our way of thinking.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
good.
that is good.
That is a good point. Again, sorry a little bit here for a little bit of feedback that we do have. That's what I have thought, I guess, at times as well, is that the longer we live, I think the more precious human life will become and the more respect we'll treat the planet with. So glad to hear some other support for that idea. And again, I just want to mention again for this program tonight, we are talking about life extension advocacy and outreach efforts, and we are interviewing Didier from Belgium, who is starting a new organization with several other people who you may be familiar with, who hang out at the Immortality Institute, who are in the chat as well. Sven and Angelique and whoever else is in there could probably answer some of your questions if you do have. And I want to promote the name of the organization again, Healthy Life Extension Society. It's HEALES, and it will be heals.org when the website is available, and they're going to focus on outreach efforts in French-speaking areas, France and Belgium and then Netherlands as well, where it seems life extension advocacy is not currently very popular, or is not being is not out in the public consciousness as of yet. And before we end our interview portion of the program for tonight, I just want to ask Didier if he has any other last comments about the HEALS organization, and perhaps some time frames on when we can expect to see some of the efforts come to fruition, such as the website or some meetings in those parts of Europe.
Yeah, the first thing I wanted to make a small precision that I spoke about Vincent, and Vincent, I said he was a student, and actually he already finished his studies.
Already finished.
Already finished.
Okay.
The second thing is, well, once again, for me, the biggest question is how to go mainstream. But I think it's also the first big question in the United States is how to make people really thinking about the fact that it's possible to live longer, and it's there are always moral questions and also scientific questions, and we have to handle these aspects. But really, I would like. I read the forum on e-Minst almost each day, and I see a lot of times this question, but I don't see good enough answers yet. So I'm really curious also to know for you, Mind, what's your solution? Well, I know if there was a good solution, we will use it already, but
right.
It's about it. And so now for the future of the association, the first thing is I think we will have. No, sorry. The first thing is we have a meeting more or less each month or each 2 months in Brussels, because it's a central place, and we have this meeting in a cafe. The name of the cafe is La Mort Subite, the sudden death. So I choose this cafe because I think it's a good
good food.
Good food. No, it's sudden death for to speak about life extension.
Okay.
Then there's this visit of Aubry de Grey already in January in France, and after that I know that there are already discussions about an e-Minst conference, or a conference about life extension in Europe. I think it would be really something great if it's possible to organize it. And then the next thing is we will try to make each 2 months a newsletter in Dutch and in French, based on English documents, and also, of course, documents papers we will write ourselves.